Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Akhil, and I will be your host for this session. We are delighted to have you with us for today's interactive webinar on legal careers in a changing world, opportunities for graduates and postgraduates, presented by Symbiosis Law School, Pune. Now, before we officially begin, please ensure that you're comfortable using the chat and the Q&A functions, as they will be helpful for you throughout the session. Now, feel free to use them for any questions or any technical issues, and we'll assist you as soon as we can. Now, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to an interesting session ahead. Now, the topic for today is legal careers in a changing world, opportunities for graduates and postgraduates. This topic is highly relevant as the legal profession undergoes rapid transformations due to global trends, evolving regulations, and technical advancements. Today's webinar will offer valuable insights into new legal rules, essential skills, and opportunities that lie ahead for both graduates and postgraduates in the legal field. Now, it is my honor to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Shashikala Gurpur. She's the director of Symbiosis Law School, Pune. Dr. Gurpur is the distinguished academician and a pioneer in legal education for over 31 years of experience. And she has been a leading voice in promoting international legal education and has delivered more than 325 invited lectures worldwide. She has a PhD in international law from Mysore University, where she was a gold medalist. Dr. Gurpur has made significant contributions to legal research, teaching, and policy development. Her expertise spans across various fields such as jurisprudence, media laws, international law, human rights, and feminist legal studies. We are thrilled to have Dr. Gurpur share her expertise with us today. Without further ado, Dr. Gurpur, please take it ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Akhil, and also the audience who are here. I should rather say that aspirants for Symbiosis Law School, Pune. I think something is blocking your video and my video. I hope it's not the same visual that comes across to the listeners or viewers. So just see what is blocking there. It says a closed captioning transcript is being generated. Do you see that?
Okay, ma'am, that is on the laptop on your end. So I
So
think what
it doesn't block the view. So that's fine then. As long as communication is facilitated, I'll have no issue. So permit me to share the slides that we have prepared for today. First of all the aspirants there, I'm sure that all of you are distributed between the cohorts of LLM and LLB aspirants. And then we also must say that Symbiosis Law School, Pune, although it is primarily like any other law school, even National Law School, is thriving as well as getting strengthened by the very large undergraduate population to encourage research and to encourage advanced legal studies, which also finally enriches these undergraduate students. We have both the LLM and PhD. One of the trends that we set way back in 2014 was to revive our old 3-year LLB program. But this time when we revived, we were different. In fact, I must tell you very proudly that when Symbiosis Law School started in 1977, 3-year law course was the order of the day. I must also tell you that lead universities in the world, whether it is Harvard or Oxford, their undergraduate programs are 3 years only. Only difference is in Oxford, they call it BCL, Bachelor of Civil Law, because the students come after 12th. Whereas in Harvard and all the American law schools, it is after graduation because they believe that a serious profession like law, which requires a lot of life insights and experience, should be having people coming to it after good grounding in one discipline, means one major, one others, or a few areas within one niche. For example, I'm a 3-year law product. Most of the judges who retired, including the Chief Justice, Honorable Chief Justice who retired recently, all of us in this generation are 3-year law course product. I must tell you that the way the 3-year law course was looked at when I was a student, because when I joined the law school, the 5-year law course had its first 2 batches, means my peers were in the very first 5-year law courses, second year or third year. So they didn't have anyone to look up to. but they were supporting their juniors, whereas we were more mature guiding them because we were already graduates. We knew what college life was all about. We knew how to connect law to our area or generally to life. So please never be under the impression that although there is a whole lot of majority acceptance and majority emphasis on 5 year law course, in my opinion, three-year law course has its own strengths. I'm setting this background just to um, help you unlearn any bias, any complex that you may harbor. Because most of the time, 3 year law course students are either seasoned professionals. When I started teaching, I was the 23-year-old teaching there, not 23, I was about 24, 25. My classes had people my father's age also, because legal education bar council has made it very liberal democratic. So they used to patronize me when I first entered the class, but once they realized I was more knowledgeable than them in this particular area, they started supporting, and I was one of the very few lady professors there. Others were visiting lawyers. So what I'm trying to say is that 3 year law course gives us such surprises in life. Like today also, if you look at my current 3 year batch, and from the time we revived in 2014 till now, 60s batch has got at least 10 who are extraordinary. Extraordinary in the sense they are very successful entrepreneurs, or they would have had a very big stint in technology. Some of them may be already holding patents. Some of them are MBAs from our sister institute, like our prestigious SIBM, or I had one lady who was from IIM Bangalore. And then we have students who hold MSc, one held PhD but wanted to do law. So we get more rich milieu of students bringing rich experiences to the institute. Let me tell you, as I stand before you today, or sit before you today, two experiences from 3 year law course. One was nationally award winning entrepreneur who was honored by Prime Minister for being the youngest and most successful. He was our 3 year law product, graduate of Army Institute of Technology. Then I had another student who was coming forward to sponsor our corporate social responsibility in the prison and other places because he was a wealthy clinical research entrepreneur. Just two examples. And then I had many such experiences. Although our 5 year law course students also do, they are still that undergraduate, need to be looked after kind of milieu, whereas 3 year law course were our partners in success. In my experience prior to this, and in my experience after reviving this course, when we started in 1977, the Pune environment was different. Professionals wanted to take a law degree. So Dr. Muzumdar's brother, who was a sitting judge then, he said, why don't you start a law school? So we were the second law school in Pune city. Before us for 75 years, ILS was the only law school which produced many Supreme Court judges, etc. And when Sir started it, being innovator that he is, he could get 3,000 applications in the first year itself, although it was 3 year law course. Then there was a brainstorming in the country with the Dr. Bakshi, late Mr. Ramjet Malani, then Dr. Madhav Menon, that we need to put legal education not as a side avenue for promotions, but under serious footing, on serious footing. That's how the 5 year law course started, like medical, engineering, and management. So that is a different story, and that story runs along with that. I will never forget the story of the 3 year law graduates. One of the reasons why 3 year law course is ignored is, or rather underestimated, is the traditional reason of the way in which law courses were taken as self-studying, apprenticeship-based, whereas 5 year law course put it in a kind of giving solid theoretical and interdisciplinary foundation for 2 years and then merging into law. But the difference, in my opinion, the internal readiness for profession is stronger in 3 year law course, in my opinion. Whereas in 5 year law course, we lead law schools like us ready them immediately. So please shed, unlearn any kind of that comparative mode. We can't compare oranges and apples. We can't compare, I mean, you are not just oranges and apples in terms of two species or genus. You can't compare a fruit which is lasting for longer than the fruit which is very raw and attractive. So this is the difference. Now, second thing is the cohort which has come to learn for LLM. Now, LLM in Symbiosis Law School, we embarked on the 1 year journey the minute UGC rolled out its notification. It was in 2013. Till then also we were strong year on year experimenting with new combinations with through year LLM. First, we had only constitutional law under the shadows of Pune University before we became deemed university by about 2002. Then we brought in corporate law, which became a huge success. Then our students gave the idea, why don't we start intellectual property? Because they knew I was science. We had tech legal cell with my colleague Ravandale, who is currently heading the Noida Law School. So we started that. And today we have 9 LLMs, and a number of them came as a response to the emerging needs. And mind you, all of them are running full. We have in 1 year LLM very rigorous rules, and we follow that rule to the T. No student gets in and gets out unless they spend 365 days here. So dissertation, most of the dissertations have been yielding scopus articles or publications, both to the credit of the guide, to the student, to the law school. So we have produced very serious researchers, very serious professionals. Every year, LLM batch produces excellent judges, excellent lawyers, excellent academics, researchers. In a way, it looks like we are manufacturing human resource for the best law schools in the country. That is the way in which our LLM students are going. One reason could be, as we are discussing today, the rigorous selection process that we follow. Second is a very well structured developmental process that we follow. We really shape and chisel as a team of faculty and team of alumni, team of stakeholders, every student, and we pay attention to every student as mentor. So this is how you can be ensured of your investment being very safe and having rich returns. Mind you, you should also think of the longest legacy we have. There are many private law schools and there are a number of national law schools, but the legacy that we have in 3 year program lasted from 1977 till about we parted company with the Pune University becoming deemed university. Parallelly, 5 year, but not parallel. Parallelly, they were running from 1984 onwards, but we discontinued the 3 year law program much earlier, and then with the Pune University itself, and then we continued only with the 5 year law course. I revived it in 2014 because 2007 I took over. We structured and put on a different plateau the whole 5 year program, and demand was coming in by phone calls, personal phone calls by vice chancellors of other universities. Why don't you start? Because they saw IIT Kharagpur starting exclusive intellectual property rights specialization in 3 year law course. Thus came the call for 3 year law program. So I assure you that this 3 year law program is not just any law degree. I can say this is an exceptionally quality kind of program for 3 year law course. Because the other day I was talking to my respectable colleague in some prestigious law school. He was telling, compared to 5 year, 3 year is ignored. But that's not the way in Symbiosis. My 3 year law course students are equally vehement, and they say that we want the same quality, we want the same attention. So we have a different faculty in charge. We share strategies between these success stories and we enrich. So also in LLM, we focus more on research because we want to create next level of breed of thinkers and scholars and think tank aspirants. Although our 5 year law course exceptionally also have this kind of competence, but that's exception, in terms of IQ. So this is a campus which is safe, which is caring. Here everyone will find themselves as a justice defender, because you may defend justice in the academic sphere, in the research sphere, as I will unveil these careers. So the title, as it says, it's a changing world. I mean, just the other day, one election in US and the whole share market went topsy-turvy. And then one American election, cryptocurrency was spelling out differently its own identity. And then a few days ago, there was a war, and the war doesn't seem to, it has de-escalated, but it doesn't seem to stop in two different parts of the world, and how it is creating so many discourses, responses, oppositions, and diplomatic negotiations. Everything is important for us lawyers, because it is the law which legal career which responds to these changing needs, because human expectations change, conflicts arise. Sometimes an expectation change before conflicts go to the disproportionate kind of difficulty. We are the ones who prevent it. We are the ones who strategize, navigate, find. Our profession is all about finding solution, resolving disputes, preventing these quarrels, and enriching the economy, spelling out prosperity, because justice is that equilibrium of prosperity. So we are a justice defender primarily, whether we are doing LLM, LLB, or 5 year or 3 year. So in this context, what are the opportunities that are available? You know that when you study in a law school like this, which has consistently been top ranked, name any survey, we are there. Our main selling points are that we ensure that our curriculum is very structured and well developed. Today, periodically it is reviewed. Every year, new curriculum is added, best practices are brought in, best speakers from all over the country and abroad are connected to students. So the teaching, learning, and curricular input is state of the art, cutting edge. Second thing you see is through a specialized center called SCALCER, Symbiosis Center for Advanced Legal Studies and Research, which is the home to LLM program along with PhD program. It sees that faculty engage with the students and support this research output. We also engage in policy reform, legal education reform, and then we have our engagement in national and state bodies, a community, and then we as a university hail that merit as an aspect. So this is the only university must be which appoints faculty also absolutely on the basis of merit and completely neutral and anonymous context. And then it is where students merit is valued. It is merit based admission. We do follow, even though we are not bound to follow, we do follow social equity measures, like there's a certain degree of reservation, as you know that. And then there is a separate entrance test at the national level. And what is unique to our law school is it is followed by personal interaction. So in your own LLB and LLM second level of admission, it's not in undergraduate, we filter out of 10,000, 15,000, we filter 3,000. Here, everyone has to go through this process because weightage of 70% is given to written test or 50% in case of LLB. And then the rest of it is based on the personal interaction. The quality is maintained by midterm review where students involve, faculty involves. There is open house where students can talk in that town hall and student feedback on faculty, services, academics is taken. Now let's look at our profession. Legal profession is not just having a national outlook, it has got a global parallel. We know that it is legal profession which built the nation as well as society. It's considered as a noble profession. It's, I mean, as ancient as the medical profession or much more, because when his civilization was evolving, violence was more, injustice, disequilibrium was more. Even for the noblest of the profession like medical profession to thrive, legal profession provides the ground because it is the mother of equilibrium, peace, in a society. Now, the scope of our profession is everywhere, from cradle to grave, as they say, ground to sky, birth to death. So, everywhere a lawyer is needed, law is needed. Tell me your life as such, is it not touched by law? If not by the lawyer or lawyer's court, it's not just court centric, it's about laws, a rule of law, justice. Now, we had the legendary choices of lawyers like Harish Salve, who is now Indian born, India trained, but now is the Queen's advisor. We also have Gopal Subramaniam as the Queen's counsel. We have Mahatma Gandhi, who changed the destiny of this nation in decolonization. Barack Obama, who became the first Black president in the United States. All of these are lawyers. So you should be very proud that you are aspiring for such a profession. And one thing, this is one profession like medical profession or education, recession proof. Because in prosperity, lawyers are guiding their clients to retain the prosperity, to help cover the risk, prevent the risk, and manage the risk. In recession like crisis, it is lawyers who defend the meek. It is lawyers who protect the rights, protecting people from eviction, etc. We do that job. So in Symbiosis, you get that outlook and training for law with an international edge. How do we do that? One is, if you look at my current graduates, whether 3 years or 5 years, they are opted in law firms, in corporates, in emerging areas. They are readied, like in cybersecurity, taxation law, climate justice, artificial intelligence. And in terms of litigation, we train them for India's bar exam. We also have connectivity to train them for New York and London bar exam. We also connect to legal process outsourcing because some of the skills there are very important for people who want to be legal entrepreneurs. Even legal tech in AI is important. Then banking sector is predominantly an employer for us. So we have courses related to banking sector, and practitioners in ICICI Bank and other lead banks come and train here alongside our in-house teachers. Large number of students also go to higher education. I told you already, our researchers are everywhere. You name Jindal, you name Bangalore National Law School. It is our researchers who, after LLM, opt for the job or for PhD fellowship. Some of them have joined us also. Because, in our country today, we have more than 2,800 law schools. And across the law schools, universities, the top associate professor, professor position, the A class, is having 40% deficit. So we have to appoint newcomers because in that age group, not many are still willing to continue teaching, because by now, side by side, they would have developed what we call as a side consulting or collaborating avenue, which eventually becomes richer and less effort is needed because you are already, by teaching law, you learn law better. So these situations make a lot of need for fresh graduates. And then we have the data analytics and computers and all other areas. I mean, now I have introduced today, I was talking about enabling students in data analytics and artificial intelligence. Now we have some input from industry and training, but I want to have it as even for 3-year law course, 40%, because we have a course called ICT and research methodology as part of the research methodology. Now I want to engage that course with the engineering college so that you become familiar with the data analytics and AI and content writing with the journalistic people. So these are all the careers for law graduates, because there's huge money there. You can do it in the, especially girls, when they go in the family way, they can do it from the leisure of the house. They can even go to the extent of analyzing contracts online. So that is also there. And then journalism, or even house husbands. If boys want to be the house husbands, they can engage in such careers. And then journalism is a type of career, legal journalism, court beat reporting. Not much expertise is there. The television and all, you will see the news in OTT and television, a lot of inaccurate account of law is given. So this is where a lot of graduates are required. Policy making and research is another avenue where law graduates are forming the think tank of virtually every MP or MLA, so that they give them notes when they present before the parliament. And then academics, as I already told you, there's a huge need in academics as there are so many law schools. And India is having that rich demography now till 2030. Therefore, in the changing world, which is swinging in favor of Asia and global South, and especially with India becoming a powerful force to reckon with, the law graduation is going to be a very important graduation. I was reading today, which are the top 10 careers which will make you a millionaire with college education. Law found a place there. That shows the power of our profession. It is as important or more important sometimes than technology or medical, among other professions. Now, legal opportunities across the world, we mine for students. So I'll give you two examples. I had a student, she was a 3-year law course student. She used to come to me very often, very active in the class. During COVID, she spent her first 1 year. Online, she would ask me hundreds of questions. So once the COVID went off, I took an opportunity to meet her personally. She wanted an opportunity. I gave her that opportunity. Then she said she's interested more in international law. And then we got her an internship opportunity with the ICC. And that, along with her academic excellence, got her an opportunity to study in Cambridge. Once she finished her Cambridge degree, we absorbed her. Today, she is a very reckoned with and strong researcher in our institute as a teaching associate. And my European project, she is handling one part of the European project. So this shows that and how she could develop such a profile, because we have other alumna from our last so many generations of alumna and 5-year law course also, who give the support for finding such internships, finding such contacts. Now, industry guest lectures are part and parcel. At least 5 to 10% of the course is taught by them. Skills training is mandatory. We are the only law school which is a very structured skills program based on Dr. Menon's, in the fag end of his life, he gave this idea and which we developed. Now we are going to add more to it. We divide the skills into pure legal, then technical, then managerial. And then we have a very good peer support because all are meritorious students. So we design our assessments in such a way that there is collaboration. Then curated internships, our placement, career and placement development cell, what it does is it asks your interest and then it gives you opportunities. Then it talks to the firms and other employers and it sees what kind of CVs do they prefer. So we train how to cultivate that, build the profile. And then we give, before the job opportunities are sent by employers, before students appear for it, we give them mock job related interviews by our old students or experts in the field. I hope you got all of it. And our 3-year law course students have gone on representing college and won the Moot Awards. 3-year law course students have been absorbed in lead firms like Trilegal. One of the 3-year law course students who was a corporate company secretary, she was absorbed in American Express. And the man was so impressed, the HR head. He said that your quality to be seems to be same in the 5 years and 3 years. I had one girl who was from the Lady Shriram College, very competent, but she had also master's degree in political science. In her second year itself, in her second internship, she was offered the job. Very articulate, excellent writing. So it's not that Symbiosis is a recruitment place. It's like the training process makes it the logical outcome that employer finds you most sought after. That is the employment readiness that we create, not employment is given by employer. So right now you will see that global legal opportunities in the form of international arbitration and dispute resolution. Some of our students go with our old student Prantika and her boss, Mr. Pillai, in Singapore, either online or offline. We have a wonderful judge in India who is a big name in arbitration, Justice Nandraju. So he trains online. So there are many such opportunities. International trade and investment law, cross-border mergers and acquisition. In the law firm, you do these jobs, or you may have exclusive law firms on this, but we train you according to these needs, emerging needs. Environmental law and climate justice, if you think that it is only the job of the movement and do-gooder Samaritan, you are wrong. Today, climate justice, because thanks to the sustainability, thanks to the Paris Agreement, cuts across all avenues of life, particularly 70,000 jobs are created in India by European companies. And these companies have a compliance facet called sustainability. It is nothing but the other side of climate justice. So sustainability parameter and softwares and compliance recording has become part of it. So a lot of sustainability professionals are required. A sustainability specialty holder with the IT and legal skills is a sought after because it's a newly emerging area. Like that, we have data privacy, we call them data privacy inspectors or data privacy owners in companies. They also need this tech and law combination. So these are emerging careers with the new laws and new regulations coming in. Artificial intelligence is another area. Only EU has the AI Act. And now AI has been extensively used in medical profession, but and construction, etc. But now the time has come across all professions for efficiency and also for the way in which we have had backlog, for example, in the courts, or sluggish way of proceeding with the cases which have huge life and human rights implication. AI is going to be the answer. So that's one area. Transnational criminal law, you know that now cases are happening, Canada tension, or if you look at financial issues, PMLA, money laundering, money laundering act, people having borrowed here, not repaid the banks, go and escape into some other jurisdiction. So it is transnational criminal law. Cyber crimes today have trans-border applications. Cyber frauds have trans-border import. So here also we train you, and this is where a lot of careers are emerging. And global contracts, transnational contracts are a highly specialized area. As one of our alumni, he currently is chief in Ola, and he is one of the sought after specialists. He worked in the topmost Herbert Smith Freehills, and then he went to Australia, then he came back to India. He has held many key positions, and he is one of important mentors as an alumni in corporate area. Another is working in Shell Hazira, who is regional chief now, as far as law is concerned. Then we have global marriages, and here there are a lot of conflicts. If you read in Supreme Court, Delhi High Court, the cases, the trans-border child removal, trans-border maintenance issues. Then migration, which is the private international law issue for job purposes, the compensation issues, many other life issues touch upon these labor contracts as well. So legal opportunity pathways, if you see, you could be in international law firms. Like this year, two of my students got selected in the London law firm, two different law firms. They were toppers in the class, but they went and took a degree abroad. And within 3 months, they were absorbed as vacation people, and then they got the associateship. Then they're doing very well, the girls. And many other host scores of children. And in New York, I have one student whom Supreme Court judges used to love as a intern. And this boy went there. He was always a topper. He went there. He took New York University degree. Parallelly, he used to work in a law firm on occasion position. And then he became the associate. After that, he shifted because he had many skills and extremely dedicated. He went to EY now. He's in the New York office. I've had many students. They met their mentors in the law school, or one alumna helped them, something like that. I have another one who has now moved to Oxford, but when he was doing his master's, he worked with the New York law firm. No, he worked with the United Nations office in New York as an intern, because we knew the former Chief Justice of Sri Lanka, who used to come to our law school, who became the country permanent mission chief. He gave the opportunity. From there, he could become the World Bank Fellow. And then he came back to Oxford. Now he's pursuing his PhD there. So this is how the trajectory goes in terms of international law firms to academics and research, or international law firms, or exclusively E&Y kind of multinational companies, or in-house counsel. Today I was seeing, I'm planning my alumni meet. I've got Boston Consulting Group membership, leadership by our alumni. So I'm inviting all of them to this meet. So the possibility of a law degree here growing into something needs three things. One is your great participation. First, you take your admission. Second, you make use of all the opportunities, listen to all the experts, plan, make use of all the internship opportunities which are curated for you. And then whatever job you get, less paying, more paying, from there you think of your evolution and what you like, where are the opportunities, and how you will invest. We have international organizations. People are working in International Criminal Court. One of our students is a prosecutor there. He was in the Rwanda, he was assisting, and later he was asked to be deputy. Non-governmental organization and human rights organization. Many are in the non-governmental organization. I have one student who started his own NGO, which was visited by Michelle Obama because his work in Dharavi was appreciated. When he was a student here, he used to work with our sweepers, the cleaning contracts, their children. So his mission and his dedication evolved into his own organization, which took global recognition. Policy formulation and development is also a role. Two of my students, one is working in the aviation sector with the government. Many, some are working in the legal aid, some are working as advisors to the law ministry, some are working in the commerce ministry after taking a foreign degree. So this is how it has gone. I hope I have made it clear. Now, international placements, if you want the evidence of what I'm talking about, some more evidence I'm giving you. Highest CTC in London for 3 students, it came as 52 lakhs per year, and national package in trilegal and other tier law firms, tier 1 law firms, 19.5 lakhs per year. International recruiters included, you see there, Baker and McKinsey, Linklaters. Somebody got in Baker and McKinsey Singapore office as well, not only London. And 14 sports law in Portugal, Venus Karma Trading in Qatar, Hira Industries in Dubai, to mention a few, NYK, so many. And the names are here. And then international internships also we have in US, we have in Europe, we have in Singapore, we have in UAE. So on the left-hand side, Nepal, Sri Lanka, you could see that. One student from Nepal recently was telling me she was interning, she was clerking with a judge as a researcher. And a lot of my students, after they pass also, they go. Like our 3-year law course, we produce judges in the recent batches, post-2014. We produce law professors. We produced PhDs who went and settled in Finland. Then I told you, Trilegal and other lead law firms. And then the companies also, you will see on the right-hand side, different companies also, which have absorbed our students across the world. So if you look at 3-year law course, see here, we have had banking, majority percent went to law firms only, 56% of the students. Some of them got appointed in college. Some of them were asked to come back for internship. Ideally, nobody wants to invest on you unless they see you for some time, especially 3-year law course students bring that little baggage of other graduations, colleges, culture, if that college is not as rigorous as SLS is. So they need to unlearn, they need to adjust. So they watch them and then they give the job. Next big sector where our 3-year law course is going is corporate sector. Third is banking sector. This is a normal pattern even in 5-year law course. And then there are academics, litigation, NGOs, I should add judiciary, and then insurance. This is the most interesting part in last 5 years. Then you may ask why only 83 in last 5 years out of 5 years means 16 to 5, 300. So why only 83? Rest of them have gone into litigation. They have gone abroad. So those we don't present here. We assume all of them went for jobs and then went for Sanad and then they chose. In LLM, if you see, very interesting figure is there. See the pattern. In 5 years and 3 years, it is same. In LLM, largest percentage has continued with litigation. And then law firm percentage is smaller. So such is the motivation with LLMs. They do litigation, then they get into judiciary. 3 years litigation they may do, then they may get into higher corporate position with the premium because the experience counts. And in judiciary, LLM has got an additional marking. So law firm 19%, judiciary 6%, higher study 7% means PhD. That is very interesting. Judiciary and higher study similar type because it takes certain personality. Corporates 10%, insurance 1%, civil services. I've had JAG, Judge Advocate General in the armed forces. I've had IAS, Maharashtra Public Service Clearance, Government of India's examination clearance by students, and then academics is only 6%, although I'm bragging so much about research. But you must understand, those who are doing this, they may also be doing part-time teaching. Some of them do from litigation because they're trained here. We have a mock teaching. I don't think many other law schools do that. We teach them what is quality legal education. We invest a lot of energy on primarily enabling them in that and enabling them in legal skills which they wouldn't have learned in their undergraduate college if they have come from not so good colleges. So here what we call as we do the leveling of the students. This is very special about us. Now, collaborations we have across all the continents of the world. Either the teacher or the student goes there or exchange happens. And then we have done sustainable development, goal alignment. We have a special program where 3-year law courses, second year completed, 5-year law courses, 4th year completed people can go to Arizona or Birmingham to finish their 1-year LLM. They go as semester finishers and then they take another semester and finish that as they finish their practical courses like drafting, pleading, etc., which are more skills courses in the Symbiosis Law School. So this is something that you will really appreciate, and this has led to many international placements and connections. Now our first batch has gone to Birmingham. Now the second batch is going to Birmingham. Another cohort is going to UPenn, Penn State University. The third one is geared up for Arizona. So we are very strong in this area. We have certificates on different parts of the world's legal system. We have faculty mobility. We have had people going in that, faculty members and students coming from there. Now there are 3 students here from Germany. It's a sustainability related grant. So we have EU-India legal studies, which you are going to have as part of your curriculum. And one specialty is LLB, LLM, and 5-year law course students in the very first semester are trained to think like a lawyer by a clinical faculty from US. This is done only in Symbiosis law schools, all our 4 law schools. We fly them here, make them stay here for 1 month, and they do your evaluation and give you the feedback. And they're all practicing attorneys in their home state. And the long tradition US has built in clinical legal education is brought here. And then we have other distinguished programs and our collaborations whereby international faculty come and give you the webinar online or they visit here. Every semester you will see people of different colors as teachers or students in the law school. So that really enriches your cross-cultural competence and your worldview. That's why Symbiosis really, as it was told earlier, is a place where everyone finds themselves and their greater possibility. So I told you about this center which consolidates research, which trains you in research writing, research thinking, academic writing, and it consolidates all the research, including our projects, our publications, then our curriculum development, faculty building, and PhD and LLM orientation. So if you look at the faculty, you look at a faculty recognition awards are won by many faculty. And PhD, large percentage, almost more than 50% are PhD holders, almost 80% are net holders, some are overlapping here. And then international exposure, almost all the faculty now. And industry background, also good percentage of them. And one is an IP attorney. And we have many advisors who are IP attorneys. So right now for LLM, we had 2 years till 2013. We were the first, one of the first 4 to roll out in the entire country this program. Then we have intake of this year 90. Next year it will touch 100 because I'm going to have a transnational LLM program in climate justice. For your batch, we have 9 specializations. One of the sought after specialization, one of the new ones we are proud of is the TMT, in the OTT era. And EU law and international law is another which many people have taken. Family law is also sought after. But the most successful one is corporate and IP, if you rank. And equally good is criminal law, security law, human rights law, and constitutional law. So I don't know what specialization you have offered. We encourage you to take, identify first, second, third, and then we see as, because we have only 10 seats in each. So 1 year LLM program in SLS Pune is very special because we are very seriously engaging you. And sometimes I also come to yell at you if you don't spend your time in the library, if you don't focus on studies, because our teachers drilled us like that. So we have experienced in-house and international faculty, plus we bring input from the bar and the bench and the industry. Unique competencies we create so that you are at the higher levels of consulting, you are building your capability. You have peer learning from international students because LLM also attracts a lot of international students from West Asia, from Africa. Sometimes we had a British student, American, German student. Special emphasis on research. We insist that you produce dissertation and parallelly an article, and faculty monitors, mentors, and co-authors with you. We have institutionalized the skill development for net exam, for teaching orientation, mock teaching. And this is something that really helps you. And we have seminar-based approach, which makes you independent learner. And internationalization advantages flow to you also. In terms of 3-year law program, once again, I bring you back. Intake is 60 and the program pattern is 6 semesters. And we have overwhelming response. So you look at the objective. We want students to have these multiple skills, including dispute resolution, problem solving, all of that. Then when you look at the star alumna, as I told you, are professionals now. Preeti is in the US and she is teaching there and researching there. Ravi is hosting. He won the award from the Prime Minister. Vishal is also doing very well. And Advocate Kaustup was the one who was in news recently challenging Jindal for his LLM's AI engagement. Sanjit Ganguly, a 3-year program, has created the cleared the New York bar. But I have many more names I can tell you who have been very, very good contributing everywhere. Now, in admission process, in 3-year, we have the center-based test. You know that there is one date, which is 15th December. You have 2 parts there. One is subjective questions for which you have to answer, which is usually current development. Then 10 objective questions for 20 marks, which are related to general legal knowledge, legal general knowledge in terms of policy, politics, law, coursework, current affairs, and English language. And then you have one psychometric test of 20 minutes for 10 marks. So based on this, you will score 70 marks and rest 30 will come for the personal interaction, where in 10 minutes, We will ask you questions to test your personal attribute, your fitment to our rigorous program, your work experience, if any, your global outlook, professionalism, ethics, values, and also we look at your recommendation letter, your statement of purpose. For 3 years, we are insisting because they are little mature students, so we test them in a different way, like how foreign universities do. For LLM students, there is a written test, which is center-based test again. It's on the same day, on the 15th. So look at the timing. Of course, in 3 years, we didn't give the timing. In LLM, we have given the timing, 4:30 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. It has objective and subjective questions on teaching aptitude, research aptitude, legal aptitude, and basic legal knowledge. So because you're already LLBs, and we assume that some of you have been trained in research. Even if you're not trained, your outlook towards research is what we need. So questions may be varying from legal reasoning, research methodology, legal aptitude, jurisprudence, constitution. See what you prepare in terms of judges exam, what you prepare in terms of LLM admission in general, public international law, human rights, corporate law, the core areas in the Bar Council course metric, family law and environmental law. This is given, objective type is given. Of course, there are subjective also, there are essays also. So total are 70 marks. It is 70% weightage with the 40 marks objective questions. Then 30 marks subjective questions, 2 essays with the internal choice. Then online personal interaction will be divided, students will be divided into 2 cohorts. One set will face on 15th December. I think there is a little discrepancy here. It is 15th and 16th January. Am I right? After the test is over, then your dates are set and then it will happen. So it is 30% weightage. So again, you will be asked a question and your document will be verified. Even in LLB case, to see your attribute, your fitment, your claims you make in the CV and what kind of certificates you have, your publications, statement of purpose. So this is how, here also only 10 minutes are spent. The levels which at which questions are pitched are very different. So let's go to these important dates. Now you are in this stage, stage number 2. Now you have to be very mindful. Once again, I am reminding you, 22nd November, your application and payment dates close. So please don't delay. Today we are already on the 12th, only 10 days you have in hand. You can't subsequently come. We are very strict. Our system locks itself. Admit card for the exam center-based test is issued on the 5th December. And then the test is conducted on the 15th December for both. And then personal interaction will happen in January between 15th December and 17th and 18th of January for LLB, 15th and 16th of January for LLM. You will get your instructions regarding this personal interaction or PI. And then what you will have is first merit list is announced on the 25th for the LLB, 24th for the LLM. Second merit list is after 15 days, which is 15th Feb for LLB and 11th Feb for LLM. Commencement of classes will be first week of July for both cases. Here also there is a clerical error. For both LLM and LLB, first week of July will be the July 2025 will be the commencement date. That's about it. Now I invite Akhil to intervene and Sanket to intervene. Thank you very much for your attention. And I think I have crossed really the time limit. But I thought that I will give you those stories of success which should motivate you to apply in the first place. And secondly, motivate you to have a very positive outlook and work hard to make it to this college. Welcome and thank you, Anand.
Thank you, Dr. Gurpur. It was really a wonderful session. Now, what we'll do is we'll now open the floor for any kind of questions. So, attendees, please type your questions in the chat, or you can use the raise hand feature so that you can ask Dr. Gurpur directly.
There is one question, Akhil, there. Vishal Gupta is asking, where will we get the recording of this session so that you could answer?
We'll let you know. We'll let you know after this webinar.
Sure. Students, please note that. Any other question?
So we had two questions before the webinar got
Okay.
ended.
Yeah.
So Pratik has asked how 1 year is minimized in 5-year law course BA LLB means what is taught less as compared to the 3 years of graduation and 3 years of LLB.
So you mean to say how in BA, BBA, LLB, in 5 years, what is taught is reduced to 3 years, or how do they in 5 years reduce the? Very good question. So if we were to take the undergraduate degree and law degree separately, it would take 6 years, right? That's what you mean. I understand. So how we have done is, see, I must tell you, these 17-year-old students who come to us, they come after 2 years of rigorous training. So colleges like, I mean, there are different, Bar Council itself has confessed, if you go to the website, my dear, there is a report called Curriculum Development Committee report, which talks about 4 or 5 different tiers of law schools in our country. That is because our country is so diverse. So wherever the law schools don't have the resources like Symbiosis, or they do not have the government backing like National Law School, then they may not provide our kind of, for example, I provide 36 types of databases. I spend 1 to 3 crores on my library and IT infrastructure. Now, every year, mind you. So, because software licenses and all of that, that may not be the privilege of many law schools. So, when they come to a law school like us, I can talk about it. I earlier taught in Bangalore Law School. Bangalore has much more rigorous approach, trimester approach. Every 3 months, their courses change. Whereas looking at the mental stress they go through, I never requested my university or management to permit trimester. I am always in favor of moderate rigor. So what happens is, in the very first semester itself, they learn the law. So I would put it other way. You learn law in 3 years, they learn law in 5 years. So the longer you run the race, your muscles are stronger, right? And you pick up the speed faster than others. And if you're training the right way. Similarly, 5 year law course, they have their undergraduate subjects, not like honors or specialization like how you have done. Their undergraduate subjects are also tailor made to suit the law. For example, you have studied, let us say, sociology major. You study all theories, you study all concepts as a sociology honors. But when I teach sociology, I would teach in TK Umanve, the JNU scholar who wrote the first book on sociology for law students. I would bring a part on law and social transformation, how the two interact, how social engineering is done by law. So and then I would pick out the cases and show how it resonates. I don't think an undergraduate program generally will teach from that law perspective. So this is the difference. Therefore, we don't need 6 years. In 5 years, we give what is supposed to be given. The second facet of this question is there any difference in the law content? No. Council has given strict mandatory courses, generic, and 4 skills courses. In any law degree, this is the basic minimum, whether 3 years or 5 years. So in 3 years, I give it in 6 semesters because you're already into the rigor of learning a lot. Whereas in 5 years, I distribute it in 5 years. Second, in fact, 5 year law course I run is honors. I can run such an honors for 3 years also, but 3 years has this diversity of people. IIT Kharagpur runs it as IP honors. I don't run it as, my aim is to do that, but I'm still watching my 3 year law course students. I will go by research and data. But in 5 years, when they learn honors, this 21 plus 4 plus 7 electives, these 7 electives, Symbiosis Law School 3 years also get it, plus 8 honors. They take 8 extra courses. So look at those young children who come to us, 17-year-olds, and they pass out with this rigor. So the law firms grab them. Everybody wants 5 year law course. One is their innocence, amenability to change, and the sharpness and the deeper rigor with which they are trained and their readiness for multiple avenues of legal profession. So I hope I have made it clear to your query. Yeah.
Sure. Ma'am, we have one more question before we move on to the open questions.
Yeah.
So is there, how good is the scope for cyber law LLM? Is the next question.
We do not have a cyber law LLM. We have an LLM in the areas which I showed you already. But I tell you that in cyber law, I mean, making LLM as cyber law, we can call it cyber law, but making an LLM in cyber law per se may not be feasible. That's why I have an LLM there. Innovation, science, innovation, and IP. There cyber law comes in. Students have the option of choosing we call it as IT IP and IT law, within which cyber law, cyber crime, cyber fraud, cyber forensics come in. So take IT law, or TMT law is another, telecommunication, media and technology law. So between these two, you can make a choice in specialization. Yeah. What's the next question?
Yeah, so the next question is, can you please guide us on how to get internship at Genocide Watch? All my interest is in human rights law. Please guide me how to reach there. So,
Very
ma'am,
good.
yeah.
So I mean, now genocide, first thing you do for careers in international law is go for an internship. Through United Nations, getting internship is very, very difficult. There are two other routes. One is these professors who are associated as consultants, you can be their researchers. Like my close friend is the rapporteur for United Nations High Commissioner for United Nations Commission on Human Rights. Every year, 4 or 5 of my students get her internship, and when they show it on the CV, they get other internships. So the first break is made with internship only. You can't go to their office and sit now with online and all. You can sit here and do, or you go there in professor's office, you can do. The other way is their India office you have to tap, which we do very often for UNDP and others with our network. The third is that you do cold calling, you write there. Fourth is again network. Some of the people who have become mission chiefs, like with Justice Dalveer Bhandari sir, I beg always, sir, you give this opportunity, that, and he never fails us. So this is how you get your opportunity. Thank you. You're muted, I think, Akhil. Here there is a defense quota available for LLB. Answer is yes. Out
Oh,
of 60, I have 3 seats. Do you have international placements and opportunities in IP, innovation, and tech? Virtually in every field, as long as you make your internship to be worthy to convince your boss to call you back and then appoint you. To be honest with you, IP, innovation, and technology law can have a corporate placement, can be in the IP wing of any law firm in India, 1 or 2 years of experience here, or taking an LLM abroad and zoning into job zones there. These are the different paths. Can you tell some internship opportunity for legal journal? Very good. We have now, uh, extensive pieces written in Bar and Bench, Law Octopus, SCC Online, and then we have had even in Times of India and all, Ashish Rajadhyaksha, all these great legal writers. This is the way. We had one of our students start this Legal Era magazine, which is doing very well. It has its own award ceremonies and big corporate platform. And then you have supplying data through artificial intelligence or reports in specialized law areas, which is charged. So there are multiple ways. I hope I made it clear. How are LLM courses, since we had to put in four? I must tell you, generally students are interested in corporate law. So we tell them to take 2 or 3 because there are only 10 seats and good students we don't want to miss. So we tell them closer to that is TMT now, IP, or your graduation is good enough to get you into corporate law, unless you want to know more and more comparative. We are more into comparative corporate because we cover the world in a curriculum. So in that, let us say in corporate law, you got rank 11, not rank 10. But in IP law, you got rank 3. It is likely that in something else, you are rank 1. So you first take the admission. Sometimes there will be exits. Sometimes and then we have some special considerations like reservation, etc. So you take that call of putting the preference now, and then based on your score, you will know your position. I hope it's clear. DY Patil College Law, LLB, seeking admission. My question is, how much do extracurricular? A very good question. In the interview, I told you interview counts for 30 marks. In that 30 marks, your corresponding score, which is in your case, we may take 12th score. That will count for some. So out of 30, about 4 to 6 can count for extracurricular. Provided for international medals and all, we give more marks, national little less, and state and college wise much less. So this is how we give. So you may, if you are not in any curricular activity, extracurricular activity or extra qualification, you may lose that 4 or 5 marks in the 30 marks. Now, I think I'm trying to open your chat. I'm not able to
okay,
go to
ma'am.
the top of.
I don't mind spelling out the questions for you, ma'am.
Yeah, like I'll answer this anonymous attendee. For 3-year LLB, how do we approach subjective questions? General reading, practicing essay writing, the magazines ESR, Competition Success Review, and others give you how to write a good essay. And then even guidebooks for exams and all, they give you essays, preparing your own essays. Can a ninth semester BLLB student fill up? Of course, all of those who are waiting for results, please fill up your LLB or LLM form. Is it necessary to publish research paper to get internship at Genocide Watch? Very good. Um, uh, you come to the law school, you study for 6 months or 1 year, you build your profile, and we will jointly work with you. Okay, don't worry about it. Can you please guide us as to how to enter academia after 11? Very good. We guide you when you come here. One is you pass your NET examination. Second is register for PhD parallelly. When some people have cleared when they are in LLM only, and these people have now been appointed in big law schools, or some of them with us. And then academia is like when you're a student, also put 100% energy and time. You can publish your paper so your CV gets better consideration. How do we prepare to get into teaching profession? In LLB, you don't worry about it. In LLB, you would have done very well in the law. That's a good score, which is counted as one of the weightages when we interview you. I have been on the panels of many national law schools. But what we look at is there is an entrance test or a generic test they do, which is just like your LLM test. And then they will interview you. Then they will look at your publication. So building the academic profile is about, one is mastering the teaching skills, which we do in the LLM. Those with more work experience considered above the other, they may score well in that 4 marks, but rest of the marks are generic skills, right? Yeah, might not matter. So this is one. The other is batch strength of the batch fixed for LLB, or does no, it's fixed to 60. And then we have on top of that international students, so about 66. Yeah, Aryan Singh is asking, do we regard 3-year LLB as UG program or PG? It is a UG program in law. It's a double degree, not PG. But then your maturity is more than PG. Can you speak a bit on legal tech? Good question, Kinkini. Law and AI is something that's very much discussion. We are mandatorily training you to go for hello. Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
I
Yeah,
can hear
we are
you.
mandatorily training you to go for AI related approaches, and that will give you the idea. And then we get you trainers. We also have an entrepreneurship cell whereby legal tech entrepreneurship is being planned. How do we choose internships during LLB in order to diversify our CV? We will guide you. Our placement cell guides you. We do a survey, and then we look at your interest, your preference, and then we categorize you. Then we do the training. Then we put open, we make you write the best CV. Then we give you clue on how to go on LinkedIn and other and do your own cold calling. And parallelly, our own set of alumni and others will help you. What are the files after choosing human rights in LLM? You mean what are the opportunities for you? Human rights is relevant everywhere. Even to be a lawyer, it is relevant. To be a judge, it is relevant. So it is just a specialization which you can apply anywhere. Mainly advocacy, code-based role, academic role. So I hope that's clear to you. Akshat also is asking, diversify. So I told you already. So we give you plan A, plan B.
Okay.
So any other? Yeah, please, Akhil.
No, no problem. No. So, ma'am, I think we are done with almost done with the open questions. I
Uh,
have one question to ask.
yeah.
So, you already mentioned once that everything is important to lawyers, including everything emerging, which is cryptocurrency, new technological laws, and everything. So, what is the best way for any law aspirant or law graduate to keep up with all of the emerging fields and to build an expertise on it? Because you will be you're expected to know the ins and outs. So, what is the
Correct.
best way to go about learning all this?
So law aspirants knowing in and out is just reading, studying, talking to experts, going for, nowadays we see youngsters being hooked on to their cell phones or to their living spaces, you should get out and become members of these public interest organizations. I'll tell you my own trajectory. I barely spent any time like other girls of my age. I mean, I saw all the films which released when I was a student. Now, after I attained this level of what you call, we use the word decluttered life, because as you age and as you mature, you have only few avenues to pursue. In your age, so many diversions, and more so with the IT. Therefore, you identify what interests you. One is like a goat, you have to consume every information and then you filter what is relevant. So, where do you find the law? One is we have a magazine which comes, which is CSR, which is good for current affairs, competition success review. From the time I was a student till now, I have never seen anything matching it. We got another magazine called Career 360, which is good, but CSR is CSR. I would say the way they present the information, get the old test papers for civil service and others. Now, they are good for us because a lawyer and a law aspirant and a law student or law expert is always watching law through the lens of governance. Therefore, what happens in polity is important for us, culture important for us. So, if you ask me, Akhil, the lens through which you watch everything, I'm walking from college to my home or driving to my home, my lawyer, I will say what are my rights, where my rights can be violated, how do I rectify or how do I repair my injury to my right? How do I avoid any kind of crime? If I become a target or victim of crime like pain and suffering, then I should be clear about preventing it immediately and not to repeat. So, this is how a lawyer's mind works. So, if you give an idea of cryptocurrency to a lawyer, the lawyer will think, is it regulated? What is the security for the investment? What risks are there? How it can harm? It is increasing in the market, all right. But as a management, a lawyer is not just per se black letter law. A lawyer has got a sense of a scientist, has got a sense of a philosopher. Mainly law, politics, philosophy are very much connected. And in the current context, management, technology, and law are also connected. So law is one perspective, which is synthesis of all these.
Understood.
So you
Thank you.
should be open-minded as far as knowledge is concerned. You should be open to be a generalist and then find your that path which happens almost after your graduation, or if you have good mentors, maybe during your internship, and then you will discover that. And sometimes that also changes. As such, we humans are genuine, authentic, spontaneous beings. So be open to change also. For example, there was a regulation, FERA. Today it is not to be seen. That law itself is gone. There was a time when we had call centers, and today they're all gone. Everybody has a mobile. So this is how in law also there is outmodedness happening because of technology, social changes, education, media influence. So a lawyer has to be, or law aspirant has to be sharp, very articulate. We have something called traits of a law person or law aspirants. These traits are never be tired of reading, because you will be born with reading and you will be dying with reading. Reading could be screen reading or page reading, but reading, our life is dedicated to knowledge. We have no other time. If you see doctors are serious and having no personal time, lawyers are much more serious. I knew about a senior lawyer who had a roaring practice in Bombay, but he was so lonely because he could never spend time with his wife and children, because clients will haunt him even in the house nowadays with the mobile phone. So this is where this profession needs that uh, uh, appetite for reading, learning, openness, generic approach, generalist approach. And our profession, it's a profession, so it thrives on apprenticeship. So we should be very respectful of our seniors. You will see that if you visit the court, if you visit the bar room and all, common room and all, there is that awful, I mean, there is so much of awe. There is tremendous respect for those who are more experienced, openness to be guided by them. Attachments grow fonder over the years, so that you not only copy, like in London bar dinners I had once visited in Dublin. It's more about how you dress, and you belong to that you belong to that cohort or society, and also the elan and the elegance with which you carry yourself, and you follow their thought pattern, the readings. A lawyer has to be very strong in literature. The vocabulary is our tool, our capacity to talk, think on our feet, presence of mind. So for that, we have to keep good health also, gymming and all of that, yoga, meditation, because ours is a tremendously stressful profession, because many times judgments are not in our hand. We can't even read the judge's mind, and we don't know the baggage that a judge may carry from socioeconomic background. So there are many things where we have to court disappointment, frustration. So these are the traits you have to cultivate, which we try to do when you enter the law school.
So a lawyer should be always be open to learning, should
Yes.
be adaptable,
Yeah.
and should be resilient.
Resilient and very humane as well. If you look at greatest movements in the world like Rotary or establishment of something like United Nations, it all happened through lawyers. Humanitarianism, human rights are our core. They are our pulse. When everyone sees things going right, it is a lawyer who is dissident. First case during COVID was filed by a group of lawyers when they saw the train overrunning the migrants who were desperate to reach their villages. So Supreme Court first refused, but it had to take so much cognizance because lawyers prevailed. They had nothing to gain. But it is that innate sense of humanitarianism and humanism which drives our profession, because what is our core? Justice. And justice is a virtue which is not defined in one way. Justice is a sustaining force. As they say, it is the public face of love. One of the judges said, justice is the public face of love. And love is like a nurturing, or it is a nutrient for our survival. We can't survive without love. We can't survive without justice. So that is the core in law. The function and purpose of law is justice.
Understood. Ma'am, we have one more open question. After that, we can move to the conclusion of the webinar.
Certainly, we are very much within time. Yeah, please tell me the question. I can't read here.
No problems, ma'am. So, an anonymous attendee asked, the types of question asked in LLM entrance, are they subjective?
Yeah, there are two essay questions which are asked, which have internal choice, which are for 20 marks each, and rest of them are all what you call objective type.
Oh,
Okay, and they are within, as we already told, they are very much within, you can say, current affairs, legal general knowledge, as I told. And for LLM, for LLB, it is current affairs, legal general knowledge, language. For LLM, it is those law subjects which I already told, because you are already graduates in law, like international law, constitutional law, contracts, because most of the cases in the High Court, they say about 70 to 80% are based around contract. So we will include that. I mean, any guidebook on UGC exam, net exam, etc. should help you. And
yes.
then research aptitude also is part of that. Yeah. So LLM has slightly different level compared, or different ingredient compared to LLB.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Gurpur.
Welcome. This presentation, if they are able to see the recording, they will be able to again recall it and revisit. Yeah.
Definitely, ma'am. We look into that.
Thank you, Akhil.
So yeah, thank you, attendees. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to explore the evolving legal careers for graduates and postgraduates. Now, if you'd like to know more about the programs offered by Symbiosis Law School Pune, please visit our website or reach out to our admissions team. Also, don't forget that the last date for SLAT 2025 is 22nd November, which means you have 10 days left. Make sure you seize the opportunity to start your legal career at Symbiosis. Now, thank you all for attending the event, and we look forward to seeing you in future webinars and have a wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you all, dear parents, students, whoever who is present here and being a viewer. It's a great opportunity to interact with you. Work hard, study well. We look forward to welcoming you at Symbiosis Law School and releasing you to the world as well-accomplished law graduates serving the cause of justice in India and in the humanity. Good luck. Thank you, Akhil, for a wonderful summation and facilitation. And thank you, Sanket, for all the support. Thank you.